So, Lakaven Sea Rig maintenance. The Gasm Sea Rig of the coast of Lakaven has paused oil extraction operations for essential maintenance. The rig has been a significant contributor to Lakaven oil output, and its temporarily shut down could impact the city production levels. The maintenance timeline remains uncertain. The local government is monitoring the situation and making arrangements to ensure minimal disruptions to the city oil supply. Until then, normal operations remain suspended. The recent collapse of the tourist industry on Langkuk has led to a reduction in trade traffic and road maintenance. The road network is currently in service, but is in need of substantial improvement. Ports, country roads, and bridges similarly suffer from a lack of investment. Firms doing business in Langkuk report a significant shortage of warehousing facilities, particularly refrigerated facilities, with implications both for the transportation system and the ability to serve the population's basic food and health needs. The number of people filing for unemployment in Morna continues to rise as the recession continues. The change in economic conditions is historic and stunning at its speed, said the mayor of Morna. In the aftermath of the crisis of 51, the unemployment rate in Morna rose to 9% in the following year. The last 6 months have almost erased all gains in employment over the last 2 decades. Okay, Rizia formally extended warm congratulations to President Anton Rein following his electoral success. In an official address, he praised Sordland's so-called democratic ethos and expressed a keen interest in fortifying bilateral ties under the Rein administration. The king anticipates a future of close cooperation and mutual respect between the two nations, regardless of the governmental differences. For the first time in 3 years, the agricultural output of Sarna has increased. Many experts link the increased output to both a drop in temperatures and new farming practices that have been adopted in recent years. Additionally, farmers are now accessing more generous credit allowances from the government that were left over from the Alfonso administration. The Ministry of Agriculture reports that the region's agriculture industry has the potential to become a powerhouse in the future if investments persist. Booming wine demand. In Borin, there has been a significant surge in demands for local wines. The sudden increase has led to a busy season for vineyards and wineries across the region. The cause of this rise in demand comes from the international interest, and it is certainly driving economic activity in the city. Wineries are ramping up production to meet the increased demand. A continued trend could further stimulate the region's economy. Okay. Contana Security Park, an intergovernmental military and economic alliance of 9 countries led by United Contana, has signed a 5-year non-aggression pact with the Federation of Anraken Isles. This landmark agreement underlines the CSP commitment to broadening its influence beyond its home continent of Contana, while maintaining a peaceful relations across the globe. The pact demonstrates the CSP's ongoing efforts to peacefully extend its influence across the Anraken archipelago, marking an important turn in a complex geopolitical landscape. As CSP strengthens its global position to counteract the capitalist influence of the ATO, this agreement signals a commitment to strategic, peaceful expansions that respects the sovereignty of nations that lie in the ocean between United Contana and Arcasia. Okay. That's it. What is the next thing we have to do? Meeting on media strategy. Lucian and Petr arrived at my office to talk about recent developments and the media strategy. They both took their seats across from me. Lucian put on his reading glasses and quickly went over some documents. Petr turned to Lucian and nodded. "Greetings, gentlemen. I have just received further information from the interior about the sudden fire that broke out at Holsort State University archives nearby." "Okay, tell me more." "The initial reports from the Holsort police chief indicate a potential arson case. In accordance with protocol, the Swordfish Intelligence Directorate has been called." "Is the SID really necessary for this? Why would anyone hit the archives of a university in the first place? I see no logical motive here." "Well, they destroyed a bunch of employment records, so I think that can be of importance." "It seems like the chief suspects foreign sabotage. They inform us the large section of the archive has been destroyed. It included tens of thousands of globally recognized research documents in original by the great thinkers of our people. Okay. If this was arson, what could be the motive? What the motive could have been? The fact that the employee records have been destroyed along with research documents raises further questions. Luckily, most original copies in the other universities and some international libraries. The first edition of my favorite book, The Geopolitics of Swordland by Hermann Ikwa, was destroyed too. Maybe it was just a free accident. We do have the copies of most important works, so no single fire can eradicate our knowledge. I see no point in destroying employee records either. Well, I think the employee records can be important. More importantly, Lucian mentioned that Marcel Coronti contacted him. The Corontis have always been known as one of the richest and most influential families in Swordland. Marcel Coronti was no exception. Okay. So businessman, entrepreneur, son of the media. Okay, he operates the Hoss Advertising, the largest advertising company in Swordland, and the largest conglomerate operating in the media, energy, construction, train, and tourists. Jesus Christ, basically owns everything. So, okay, one of the oligarchs. Interesting. Broadcasting corporation. Was advertising. Okay. He was the oldest son of Konrad Koronti, the industrialist and media mogul who founded Hoss, the richest man in the entirety of Swordland. Lucian turned to me. He has offered to meet with you, Mr. President. Why is Koronti sending his son? He has unfortunately passed away today. After the passing of his father, may he rest in peace, Marcel aims to become the next CEO of the Hoss conglomerate. He mentioned a productive collaboration. They are a powerful and influential media conglomerate. To start with, they own the Swordland Today newspaper, the Swordland Broadcasting Corporation, which means it would be wise to have them by our side. Sorry for interrupting. What does this productive collaboration entail? He did not wish to explain the details over the phone, but rather in person. I believe I will be receiving a call from him sometime soon. However, as Peter said, they have substantial power over the content of media outlets, headlines, radio shows. That is what he would be offering. What he wants in return is what we need to understand. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to determine our general approach to media. I'm no media expert, but Lucian made some very interesting arguments at the preparation meeting yesterday. There are two ways we can approach the media. One of them is by influencing it, which has clear advantages. The other one is keeping it independent. The media is a tool to be used. I agree. Media plays a huge role in adapting public opinion towards our views and policies, while keeping us avoid damage from scandals or mistakes. While helping us, sorry. While I do acknowledge that this will sound a bit harsh, I certainly believe that our perspective, knowledge, and experience allows us to have a superior judgment compared to the average Swedish citizen. I mean, personally, I don't agree with that, but as we are playing a tyrant, 100% we need to control the media. I share your opinion. I concur. Even if we don't use it, we should be able to have control over it. You both are aware of my certain expertise with public opinion swaying. I will make sure the media is on our side. Two knocks were heard on the door. Who is it? It's Livia, Mr. President. Livia Suno, my new secretary, entered the office. Okay, private secretary, tasked with directly handling most of the critical calls, scheduling and paperwork, work in Swedish airline headquarters, before her work for the party, where she was assigned to assist Petr. Okay. After Rain's successful election, Suno began working as the personal secretary in Marine office. Alright. Her dark curls bunched as she crossed the room to my desk. She spoke with a slight lilt in her voice. Excuse me, Mr. President, Mr. Galad. Secretary has been calling me and wanted to relay a message. Oh yeah, sorry, this was him. Marcel Coronti, the new CEO of Hoss Conglomerate, is on the line for Mr. Galad. Well, the ball is in our court now. Would you like to talk with him, sir, or would you like me to? I will talk to him. Right away, sir. Connecting the call to line 1. Livia left the room and the phone started ringing. I picked up. The president speaking. It's an honor, Mr. President. I know your time is valuable, so I will not waste any of it. I was just elected the CEO of HOS. Or I guess HOS. I'm going to say HOS for simplicity's sake. My strategy is the running of this conglomerate will be different than my father's approach. This is why I'm offering a partnership deal regarding our media branch. I'd like to formally invite you to my resort near Conrad for a meeting to discuss the details. I mean, I do want to control media. But I also don't want to give oligarchs any influence. Thank you for your offer, Mr. Cronty, but I have to refuse. That is a shame. Thank you for your time nonetheless. Good luck in the future. Mr. Cronty hung up the phone without waiting for my response. That is a clear no. Very well, I hope we have made the right call. Well, that makes things clear. We should focus on other things anyway. Luciano looked at his watch. It appears we are done for today. We'll continue where we left off later. Thank you for your time. I expect you to bring better allies to the table. Luciano nodded before gathering the documents and leaving my office. We are already getting the attention of key figures, and potentially dangerous ones. Alright. What else? So, got some hires freeze, economic strains, Conti pass away. Okay. Glamorous inaugural ball. Solon regional trade. Okay. Depending on the direction. Okay. Ideological dispute between Galmland and Vagland. Okay. Dispute between Galmland and Vagland has intensified. Has been actively promoting the development and implementation of Galmish Manifesto, a unique interpretation of Carlos Marx's communist theory. The country has been pushing this agenda to the CSP countries, gathering support and building alliances in an effort to strengthen their position in the region. However, internal factions backed by Valksladian socialism and United Kontana pose a significant challenge to Halvorsad. Oh my god, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Okay. Interesting. What do we have here? Situations. Fluctuating energy prices. Okay. Development causing uncertainty in domestic markets. This unpredictability may lead to significant repercussions for Solon economy and can influence both domestic policy and international trade relations. Okay, we have declining energy output. Valgan Dam, a critical energy resource for Solon, has been experiencing a reduction in its energy output due to its age. The dam's aging infrastructure is proving less efficient and affecting its ability to maintain previous levels of energy generation. This decrease could impact the region's energy supply if not addressed promptly. Plans of refurbishment or modernization of the dam could be proposed in the future if necessary. The Reform Committee reports that any potential change to the constitution that would result in an expansion of executive power will likely result in strong opposition from the People's Freedom Party. However, Kesara Kibner of the National Front Party seem to be interested in working together with the committee. The members of assemblies in support of such direction currently seem low, but possibly make up a huge majority in the Grand Assembly, if the Conservatives' support can be taken. The reformist wing of the United Solon Party seem reluctant about supporting such changes. Okay, then we know already. Okay. There is potential in Ribery. Ribery, with its rich historical sites, unique culture, and natural beauty, has untapped tourism potential. However, the city lacks the necessary infrastructure and promotional activities to become a fully fledged tourist destination. Local officials are actively seeking further support to develop Ribery tourist sector. Any strategic plan for Rebirth's development will require a focus on infrastructure and the promotion of its attractions. Boosting tourism could significantly enhance the city economy and create numerous job opportunities. Okay, that's everything. One thing I want to just check, so can I see some sort of like a government codex? I wonder where can I see... Oh, there we go. So we have 130 seats. And then the reformers have 70, NFP have 40. So if we get independents have 10, if we would manage to get NFP and independence, that would give us 50, 180. So yeah, I mean, it's honestly like if we just get the NFP, we would basically need to have almost the entirety of the USB. So it's going to be very hard to push our agenda through. Campaign finance bill, and then here we have invest in mega infrastructure. Okay, let's first look at this. Electoral campaign finance bill. Section 1 of this bill stipulates a significant change in the methodology of public funds allocation to political parties. The new measure replaces the previous system based on the number of votes won in the general election with a system reliant on the proportion of seats secured by a political party. Section 2 sets the annual financial allocation to political parties at 500,000 Rand per each member of assembly. This shift ensures that financial support from public funds aligns more closely with the party representative influence with the legislative body. Section 3. A consensual effect of these amendments will effectively lead to a substantial increase in the election budget for the USB and minor augmentations for other parties present in assembly. This restructuring funding fosters a more proportional representation of party presence within the assembly. Section 4 highlights the important consequences of this reallocation. Parties that do not meet the 10% election threshold will see their public funding effectively curtailed. This measure ensures that public resources are contracted towards the parties with a significant representation. Well, definitely works good for me. Might get a bit of extra money. So now we have this, electoral funding. Yeah, okay, we read already about that. Has resulted in a significant change in the way political parties are funded. Under the new law, public election funding is only provided to parties that secured seats. Okay. Okay, we have doubled our money. Well, our government budget stayed the same, so... You know. Yeah, okay, we hijack elections, of course. I was hoping we were going to get a bit more budget thanks to that, but apparently no. Okay, the Ministry of Economy has put forward 2 bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help with the economic recession in the long term. Investing in these projects of the scale will take up some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile in accomplishing successfully. Definitely we need to build something. Okay. Let's see. The view towards the Marken Sea from Lakaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence fittingly named the Blue Mansion was large, fine and accommodating. But enjoying the luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the window, I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Simon's voice brought me back to the ongoing discussion. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. Alright. Nod. On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail networks between Holsord and Lakaven. Lydia started talking as soon as Simon took breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of proper highway connection between Lakaven and Arvory. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous but also difficult to traverse. Okay. The citizen and the demands matter the most. Their demands are just. The dire situation of the road infrastructure between Lakaven and Arvory can't be neglected. The return investment will be low. Our concern should be economic growth. It is not business people who are suffering now, but ordinary folk. What really matters is that your first economic act accomplishes something tangible. Okay? We must prove our capabilities. The people must know that this administration can get things done. To that point, I defined two important projects for your attention. The H3 highway project and the L1 high-speed railway project. Mr. Hall repositioned himself in his chair. The ministry can only support one project at a time with our current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So which one do you want to hear about first? The highway project. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in Agnant region bordering Agnolia. The area is home to several million Agno-Sordish and Sordish citizens who currently feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from Agnland. The mayor of Arvory, Erin Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the region infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. The increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region. Okay. Okay. That must be cumbersome for the citizens. It is. Bless their souls. I'm happy we are thinking alike on this matter. Let's take a more detailed look at the upgrade proposal. Look at the map. Okay. The H3 highway route starts here in Lakvan, and from there it leads to Lenkuk. From there it goes all the way to Arvory. As a result, the road network towards the Agnolian capital, Stalport, will also improve substantially. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. As mayor, I saw the central government continuously neglect our country's Agno-Sordish dominant regions. Is this administration going to continue that kind of negligence? Okay. Our Agno-Sordish citizens should be respected as swords like all of us. Yes, there should be no preference or separation among Sordish citizens, meaning we should think about what's best for the country overall. It has to be pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the short term. I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we enter trade talks with Agnolia, they will see an investment as a positive sign. Okay. I still want to hear about the railway project. Your predecessor, Alfonso, failed to deliver on this campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we are falling behind. News about the new electric trains in United Koltana has piqued our business's interest. I too want to transport resources and materials from Holsort to Lakaven with great speed and efficiency. Okay. Let's see. The major cities of Sorland need more infrastructure to support the growing populations. This should be our priority, growth and development optimization. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Holsort to Lakaven. It will transform into high-speed railway. Okay? Gas was pointing at Holsort while Simon was looking attentively. The planned construction starts right here at the capital. From there, it goes to Anrika first, and then connect to Gelsort, after which it will reach Lakaven, our economic powerhouse. He leaned forward. The L1 will significantly boost the economies of the newly linked cities and even the rural areas in between. Lakaven is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transported to Holsort much faster. Okay. Investing in regions that are already developed makes little sense. I completely agree. Our attention must be diverted to the needy. The H3 is a much more logical plan. The mayor of Anrika, Carton Lest, also requested this project to be prioritized. Businessmen in the region will be very content, which in turn will increase the investment and employment. Therefore, I will recommend the L1 high-speed railway project. Okay, who is this guy? Okay, mayor. The longest serving mayor in the country. Okay, it seems like a very influential person. Let's look at the later stuff. Longest serving 3 times in a row. Okay, popular among nationalists and conservatives. Good to know. I had settled on decision. Excellent. What will be your final choice? We do the highway project. Thank God. I knew that you would see reason. The negotiations will begin in the middle of this year. You will be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates that construction will be completed in 2 years, if every step going forward is executed successfully. Good. Is there anything else? This should be all, Mr. President. See you soon, Mr. Rain. Wow. Mr. President. I am the tyrant. You have to address me as Mr. President, alright? Evening settled on beautiful coastline of Lakaven. Let's see, what do we have now? Invest in occasion company stocks. A personal investment opportunity has been revealed by Mr. Munger. An experienced stockbroker in Ventar City, Arcadia, is selling valuable shares of Armadine Industries, and up-and-coming electronics manufacturers company. Good invest. No. Not interested. What do we have now? Reception and okay, so now we do our ball. I had just finished buttoning up my suit jacket when the doorbell rang. The presidential guard had arrived to pick us up for the inaugural ball. The ball was a 3-decade-old tradition, breathlessly anticipated by politicians, bureaucrats, and the press. All eyes were about to be on me. I called on Monica to get the children ready. Looking in the mirror, I straightened my tie and took a deep breath. After tonight, there would be no turning back. Suddenly, Dina hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Monica had fixed her hair in an elaborate braid woven through with ribbons. Papa, Mama told me it's time to go. Alright. Hello darling, I'm ready. Where's your brother? I think Frank is still upstairs. She shrugged. It was almost time to leave. The big ball was starting in less than an hour. Okay. Darling Frank, it's time. Monica came downstairs. She was wearing a simple yet elegant beige dress and short heels. Her hair has been neatly pinned in the chignon, I guess, showing off the pearl earrings I had given her for our 15th anniversary. All those years she had stayed by my side. Now we were about to begin the most challenging chapter in our lives. How do you do, Mr. President? Embrace her. Monica, my love, you look as gorgeous as the day we married. Now there's the charm that got you elected. Frank trotted down the stairs. This thing itches. Frank tugged on the collar of his new tuxedo. He seemed ill at ease. I'm glad to have you with us on this big night. Sure, Dad, I'm just dying to go. Papa, are these people going to be around us from now on? She pointed at the presidential guards at the door of the house. Yes, Sordan's most important family needs some extra protection. It's alright, baby. They're here to make sure nothing bad happens to your papa or his family. Monica held Dina's hand. Together, flanked by the guards, we walked out the door. Halfway to the car, Frank stopped abruptly and turned towards me. Dad, do I really have to go? Couldn't I stay home instead? Don't make me angry, Frank. I'm nervous myself, Frank, but I would feel a lot more confident with my son by my side. Frank smiled reluctantly. Well, you put it like this. Sure, let's go. The presidential guard showed us the way as red and blue lights flashed around us. Serge, my driver, ushered us into armored limousine. The motorcade started moving towards the palace. I gazed out of the window, deep in thought. Anton, what are you thinking about? I was thinking that we have come a long way together, haven't we? Yes, we have, and there's still so much that we will accomplish side by side. Just remember, no matter what happens, the children and I will always be here for you. I'm going to help Papa fix everything. Frank rolled his eyes. I know you will, honey. This means a great deal to me. After what seemed like a few minutes, the convoy slowed to a halt. Serge looked down the limousine's soundproof partition. We're here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Much appreciated. How are you today? I'm just as good as I can be, but today is your turn, sir. I'm glad you are in charge now. You know, my entire family voted for you. I won't let your family down, Serge. I don't doubt that, sir. You are the one who sparked a glimmer of hope in us all. Serge opened the door for me. The normally imposing palace was festooned with garish banners that nearly made it look cheerful. A line of shiny luxury sedans stretched around it. Politicians, bureaucrats, and celebrities, the creme de la creme of the Swordland elite, streamed inside the building. Good luck out there, Mr. President. I'll see you on the trip home. I stepped out and immediately found myself surrounded by loud voices and camera flashes. Hordes of eager journalists thrust their portable microphones my way. My guards fended most of them off, but one woman managed to dodge them and cornered me. I recognized the Swedish Broadcasting Company logo on her press lanyard. Mr. President, do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on the expected constitutional reforms? My administration will bring real change. Does that mean you don't plan on working together? Do you think you share no common ground with the other parties? Okay, I did not say that. One more question. One of your first acts as president was to sign a campaign finance law allocating public election funds by seats in the assembly as opposed to number of votes. Is this a deliberate attempt to defund the Communist Party and the Bloody Workers' Party, neither of which have reached the electoral threshold? Let's see. It is to ensure the USP has the funds we need to stay in power long enough to truly bring democracy to this country. That's enough, ma'am, said one of the guards while nudging the reporter away from me. A path through the crowd was now open, and we quickly made our way to the entrance of the palace. At the same time, a dozen fireworks went off. The entrance was decorated with beautiful ribbons in Swordland colors of white, yellow, and maroon. A lush maroon carpet had been rolled down the stairs. We entered the lobby and joined the throngs of people making their way towards the ballroom. As I navigated through the crowd, a familiar figure stepped into my path. It was Bernard Circus, the acclaimed poet and now MP. His face bore a look of subtle defiance. Congratulations, President Rain. A remarkable achievement indeed. Let's see. Appreciate congratulations, but from one of former Red Youth member to another, we both know our work has just begun. That's right, President Rain. Once Red Youth, always Red Youth. I can't help but wonder how the winds of change will blow in our Swordland now that you're taking the helm. Perhaps now is the time that our long-nurtured dream of revolution will finally become a reality. Let's see. You might be onto something, Bernard, but tonight, let's put politics aside and enjoy the evening. It will be revolution to make me God Emperor of Swordland. You're right, tonight should be a celebration, but remember to ride towards the sun is to invite flame, yet only through fiery peril can true glory be found. The light of it binds us all. Let's hope for the same for Swordland. I've taken up enough of your time, President Rain. This is your night after all. Your family, friends, and country await. You certainly have a way with words, Mr. Circus. I see why we gave you the Vulpitzer Award. Until we meet again. As I watched Bernard Circus blend back into the crowd, his words echoed in my mind. Were there mere poetic expressions, or a reflection of a real socialist sentiment steering within the country? Behind me, I heard a familiar voice. They there are, the most beautiful family in Swordland. Uncle Petre. Hi, Uncle Petre. It's great to see you. You two are growing faster than I'm getting wiser. Are you sure you're getting any wiser, Petre? Maybe not. After all, I'm sticking with you. Happy to see a familiar face, Petre. Evelyn. Pet's wife Evelyn approached us and shook our hands with a firmness that belied her delicate features. Congratulations, Anton. I have to say, the results were clear to me from the beginning. Appreciated, Evelyn. It means a lot. The pleasure is mine. I think it's time to celebrate the victory. Okay. Exactly, that's why we are here. We could start by getting some drinks. Pet grinned and beckoned a roving waiter. The four of us each took a glass of champagne. Monica, how are you? You barely said a word. I'm more than relieved to have this roller coaster ride over with, but of course, now the real work begins. Ah, yes. Managing the help, planning parties, daily trips to the saloon to look your best for foreign dignitaries. Don't be so old-fashioned, Evelyn. I plan to use my power as First Lady to advance the position of women throughout Swordland. Equal rights for our sex are long overdue, wouldn't you say, Anton? Oh my god. Absolutely, and we will work together to achieve that. I'll be, as I said, a dictator for the people. Monica flashed me a smile. Dina suddenly jumped in between and tugged on my sleeve. Papa, can we go? I want to see the ballroom. We're having a conversation here, Dina. She turned away in disappointment. That's alright, we need to go anyway. It's already time. Moved to the ballroom. We left the lobby and made our way towards the ballroom. Inside, we were yet again surrounded by a noisy crowd, but this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Swordland. I spent the next few hours shaking hands, joining various conversations, some serious, some superficial, and making speeches. We finally settled down at our dinner table with the veterans as the band started playing some slow jazz tunes. Oof, that was tiring. Okay, we have to get used to it. Well, suddenly, a loud banging noise echoed from outside the ballroom, then another one, and another. The musicians stopped playing. Everyone in the room was looking around in confusion. Petre and I turned towards each other, realization dawning on both of our faces. Fireworks? No, gunshots. As soon as Monica heard the word, she lunged from her seat. Shield Monica and kids. I threw myself on Monica, Dina, and Frank to shield them. Papa, what's happening? I knew it. We never should have come. Chaos broke out as some guests flung themselves under their tables and others ran towards the door, screaming. Dina burst into tears while Frank tried to comfort her, hiding fear in his own eyes. 3 more gunshots rang out loudly. Mr. President, are you alright? Karl Grace, head of a Swedish police force, was running towards us with 3 more police officers in decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. Okay. Police chief. Okay. Let's see. Appointing deputy commissioner of operations. Transfer to capital and briefly serve as inspector chief. Okay. As soon as he made it to us and saw that we are unharmed, he let out a big sigh of relief. Thank God. Status report. 1 second, Mr. President. He turned around quickly to his men. Check the parameter, now. Paul Jansen, follow my lead. We will bring them to the safe room. He now turned to Monica, Evelyn and the children and spoke in a softer voice. Do not worry, the situation is now under control. Please follow me. We promptly followed Carl through the winding halls and corridors of the palace. His men still had their guns drawn, which did not ease the tension. On the way, Petra made an attempt to break the silence. What a fucking night. Not now, Petra. Carl turned to us with a serious face as we were about to round the corner. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I get nervous. Petra, shut up. Carl flipped the switch on the wall and the panel opened, revealing a hidden staircase leading to the large reinforced doors. Inside, a set of emergency lights flickered on. The safe room was comfortable and spacious, with expensive-looking leather sofas. Small security monitors on the walls displayed grainy footage of each room in the palace. There was a boardroom and pantry containing enough provisions to last us months. Monica and Evelyn sat the children down and started wiping their tears. Carl stepped away from us and made a few radio calls. When he was done, he returned to me and Petra. Okay. So what's the status? Carl's radio suddenly cracked alive. Every second felt like an eternity as he pressed his ear to the receiver. When it fell silent, he turned to us. Good news. We are not in any danger at the moment. The situation has been dealt with and the perimeter has been secured by the guards and the police. He glanced towards Monica, Evelyn and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured toward the more private corner of the room and started speaking more quietly. This is what we know so far. We have confirmed that 2 people were gunned down in front of the palace. The attacker is one of them, and we have reason to believe he was working alone. He fired 3 shots at an MP, 1 to the head, 2 to the body, instantly killing him. Presidential guards at the palace immediately shot and killed the attacker. He has not been identified yet and will require an investigation. The MP that was killed was identified as Bernard Circas. Damn. This is huge, Anton. This will cause a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Petr pulled out 2 cigarettes and handed me one. He then turned to Evelyn. I could hear him trying to reassure her that everything was going to be alright. Monica was still trying to tend to Dina and Frank, as Frank paced the room, mumbling that he should have stayed home. Comfort Monica and the kids. Okay, nothing like this will ever happen again. I will make sure of it. Can't be sure of anything anymore, Anton. I lit my cigarette and took a deep drag. I was going to see this through and keep my family safe, at all costs. I crushed the cigarette on the ashtray. Damn, that's quite a start to our presidency. Nation in shock. Necessary for democracy. Okay, I didn't say... Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, with them I definitely don't want to work. Connections, legislative. Spokesman of the independents, okay. Wait, why is this... Where is the news that I... Okay, I guess... Okay, now it's sorted. Let's read the report first. Security measures at the capital have been heightened after the murder of Bernard Circas. The mayor of Holsort reports that everything is under control. Security around the Maroon Place has been increased with the combined efforts of Holsort Police Department and the Presidential Guard. Additionally, the entrance procedures to the palace are being revised with advice from security professionals. The police chief, Karl Greiser, reported that an investigation has been launched in the murder of Bernard Circas. Okay. The mood in the Situation Room was gloomy. My cabinet members were gathered to discuss the shooting outside of the palace. Lilias presented the initial report. Bernard Circas was shot dead at 9:03 p.m. in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of the assembly, and as you know, a famous communist. He spat the last words out with some distaste. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away and immediately took action by responding and killing the assailant, who was identified as a member of the nationalist organization Young Swords. Right-wing nationalist political organization, okay? The president and his family were unharmed, praise God. An MP shot near the palace, this is absolutely unacceptable. I agree. We are re-evaluating our security measures, however, the recession has affected my ministry negatively. This may well create a dangerous atmosphere where the left versus right political violence of the 20s could spark once again. A return to those days would be devastating. The coups are the reason why our country stagnated for a decade. Nia Morgna, the Minister of Justice, sighed. Okay. Vice Minister of Justice. Attorney. Okay. Taught law. Strong critic of the SOL programs. Okay. Credited the fact of running the Ministry of Justice. Under heavy pressure from Solist. Fighting the corruption. Okay. The Red Youth has condemned the killing, but it didn't stop there. They promised revenge. This will in turn spark further aggression from the Young Swords. The whole cycle started because Circus expressed his views. We can't simply look away. Nia had always been one of the only members of the Justice Ministry truly deserving of the name. She had survived countless attacks on her character while fighting corruption within the ministry, and rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Freedom of expression is part of the Constitution. We can't have anyone, let alone an MP, shot for voicing different opinions. The nationalist Young Swords have overstepped, and they must face consequences for such extreme action. This is not simple overstep, but an attack on our country. Murder for political opinions is a thing of the past. Our administration is building something new. Agreed. We'll reach out to the NFP and ask them to calm the situation with the Young Swords. The two groups have ties, and Mr. Kibner sees reason after all, which can be said about the Young Swords at times. Minister of Defense Joseph Lancea granted in his approval. He towered over the rest of us in full military uniform, his many war medals conspicuously on display. All due respect, ma'am, but we shouldn't be quick to jump to conclusions before a full investigation has been conducted. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start. It will only add fuel to the fire. It is political though, isn't it? Yes, but we need to calm the country. If we take sides, we could escalate the situation further. There aren't many sides. The state versus its enemies. Several police cars rushed past the Maroon Palace and everyone went silent. Regardless, a full investigation in all involved parties is underway. We will find the subversive and punish them soon enough, Mr. President. I'll do my best to help coordinate the administrative tasks. Justice will be served and the rule of law will return to this country stronger than ever. Only if we stay vigilant as a country. We must think about the upcoming budget. Okay. Any threats to our power must be dealt with as soon as possible. Any direct attack against the government and our people is a serious concern, but we don't know enough to act on it yet. Lucian took some notes after checking the latest newspaper and reports. It seems that the tension between the communists and nationalists will escalate further. It will be very difficult to pass any meaningful change if there's chaos in the country. We will make it through and deliver our promises. Hell yes, President Rain. This will be it for today's update then. We will convene again soon. Thank you all and keep us updated. The meeting concluded and the ministers left the room with concerned look. It was hard to anticipate what would happen next. Okay. News. Murder at the palace, okay. And the only thing we can do is continue. A few days later. Okay. Bunch of new news.